Welcome back. So how effective is the 16 Days of Activism campaign? Each year, brutal murders and rapes continue to make headlines despite government saying it's doing what it can. Slindelo Masikane has been looking at the impact of these campaigns so far. She joins us now live. So Sli, what does the picture look like over the past year in terms of cases of gender-based violence?
Well, the picture, Shahan, remains pretty bleak. I think we all expected that in lockdown there was very minimal movement, especially during that hard lockdown during level 5. But what we saw was an increase in the number of calls that were being made to the hotlines. And what we saw essentially were women being trapped with their abusers. And what we also saw in terms of the crime statistics is that the numbers do indicate that there was a decrease in a number of crimes. But then what was an increase throughout the past year between 2019 and 2020 is the fact that contact crimes have certainly increased by what we know to be 0.7%. And these kinds of crimes include rape, they include murder, as well as assault. So what we see is that although the overall picture in terms of crime statistics shows a decrease in the number of these criminal activities, what remains a huge issue is the fact that women and children, the violence against women and children remains unabated, and that women are just simply not safe anyway. It's not in they're not safe in their homes, they're not safe at school, and certainly not walking around in the streets. Now, I did take a look at what the picture essentially looks like from the launch of the 16 Days of Activism campaign last year in 2019, and what we've seen over the past year, now that we're about to head into the next 16 days of activism. Every year we see the launching of these campaigns. We see government officials going out, telling victims to come forward, telling survivors to tell their stories, and telling men to take a stand, saying that enough is enough. But it just seems that these numbers continue to increase. Let's take a look.
November 2019. Another campaign launch.
We are here today to unite as the people of South Africa by saying enough is enough.
But it clearly wasn't. Between 2019 and 2020, contact crimes, which include murder, rape and assault, increased by 0.7%. More than 171,000 women and 42,000 children were affected. Here are just some of them. In February 2020, 8-year-old Tasnie van Wyk from Elsie's River was kidnapped and murdered. In June, 28-year-old Tsikofats Opule's body was found hanging from a tree with multiple stab wounds. She was heavily pregnant. In September, 2 families in Orange Farm were left devastated when the bodies of 6-year-old Simpiwe and 8-year-old Mpho were found meters apart a day after they went missing. In the same month, Jabulile Nkosi was killed in Alexandra just days before her 19th birthday. In October, 26-year-old Duduzile Dlamini was stabbed multiple times in full view of her 5-year-old daughter. She died from her wounds. And in Limpopo, Thabo Lishabane stands accused of orchestrating the murder of his wife and her friend. Makwena Mabusela Lishabane and Tebogo Mputi were shot execution style in Polokwane.
The war against gender-based violence is far from over. For many women and children, the battle hasn't even begun. The body count continues to increase while the same old question remains. What will it take for the onslaught to stop? Slindelo Masikane, Johannesburg.